Okay, I wanted to show you how easy it is to use templates in the MODx content management system. So say you've got a really cool website, and I'm using Eric Meyer's CSS website, The Complex Spiral, as an example. This is a really cool site he put together where you've got this nice effect of a background image and this sort of glassy content that floats over the top of it. Pretty cool. How easy is it to get that into a content management system? Well, all you need to really do with MODx is you might view the source, you might copy it, and then paste it over into a text editor. So here I've done this and I've pasted this in here. You're going to go through this and filter out stuff you don't need real quickly. For example, the alternate style sheets I'm just going to delete because that's more complexity than I need. And then you're going to go through and figure out, oh, what's in that style sheet? And you might load that up and see, okay, here it is. And then anytime you do this, even if you're doing this on your own server without a content management system, you may need to handle the issue of the paths to these images. So I went ahead and copied these images into my website, and I created a folder on my website. MODx stores everything in an assets folder, but really it could be anywhere on your site. So I've got assets, images, and I created a folder called demo where I loaded these 4 images up just using a standard FTP client. Okay, and then I've reflected the paths to these images accordingly in my CSS file here. The other parts of the template that you need to consider are the basic placeholders. And so I've created a list here of the basic MODx placeholders. And the most common are the template variables. These are built-in placeholders that you would use. The most common being content, but also you might have page title, which I typically use. If I hop back over here to my straight text, I might use it up here in the head. So instead of hardwiring the page title, I'm going to put in this placeholder. And then if I hop back over here, I might say, oh, long title. I like using that in the H1 or H2 tag. So as I hop back here to Eric Meyer's wonderful example, I'm going to paste that where he's got the H1 tag going on. And if I scroll down, you can see that I've also replaced the content with what I wanted for the content. These links I'm going to leave for now. You can handle those later dynamically with some link generation tools. Okay, so that's my basic template, right? All I've done is replaced certain key components of the page with placeholders that MODx recognizes. Okay, the page title, the long title, and the content. I can copy this whole page's content into MODx. So I would go over here to my MODx Manager view, and under the Resource tab I would choose Manage Resources, and I get these tabs here. I want a template. I'm going to put a new template in, and I'm going to call this the Complex Spiral. And I may associate that with my own category, but that's arbitrary. And I'm going to paste this text in. I may need to fix some of this as I go along. Particularly, I'm concerned about anything that's referencing something on his server that I may not have duplicated. But I think it's probably good enough to go here. I'm going to save that. I'm going to check over here what I've got. Yeah, let's see. He's referring to this. I'm going to go ahead and change the path. I'm putting my CSS file in the images directory, which isn't correct, but just for now that'll be fine. And then I may need to edit this again just to reflect that. So here I am pasting in the contents of my edited file just to make sure everything shows up there. I would save this, and then in my FTP client I'm going to make sure that I've got this saved, and in my FTP client I'm going to upload this template I'm sorry, the CSS file I'm going to upload up into here. So again, I've got my website directory, I've got the assets, images, and demo. So as long as I've mirrored that same file structure over here on my pages that MODx is referring to, this should work. Let's say we want to change a template for a given page. So here I've got my document tree again, and if I choose to preview this document here, I'm going to end up looking at this template I created, very orange. I've got some tabs up top and my content, right? Back in the MODx control panel, if I choose to edit this, I can see that I'm using one template, and I can choose to change that to our complex spiral. I get a warning about any template variables which I'm not using, so I can go ahead and change that. And once I've changed it, I can choose to save the page, and then once that's complete, I can choose to preview it by right-clicking it and choosing preview the page. And I've loaded this up already, and what it looks like is now my content appears on the complex spiral page. And again, I didn't spend all night trying to import this into MODx. I just had to copy some basic CSS files and add some placeholders. There may be some additional tweaking that I need to perform, but more or less, I've got my content plugged into another layout here without a whole lot of effort. That's really nice. That's not something I've seen in other content management systems. So just to review, you've got a few placeholders that you need to learn, and the primary three are the content, the page title, and the long title. But you can also use some of the global place settings about the site name, the URL, and the base URL. And then there's another series of placeholders using this caret symbol that report back on like query time, how long it took to load from the database, and the PHP parsing time, things like that. So you've got some other options here that you may not build into a normal template, but you've got the placeholder functionality to use as you're building your MODx application. Okay, so here is where you can select the template again, and if you want to upload a template, you go to Resources, Manage Resources, and under the Template tab here, you can add as many templates as you wish.